Battleborn is looking to be pretty damn interesting, although I will admit it doesn't have my interest quite as much as Overwatch does, but of course I haven't played either of them, so perhaps I just haven't been exposed to it as much. Regardless of that, we have 2 new heroes been announced thanks to IGN, and we have some interesting looking ones as per Battleborn's usual MO. They are fairly unusual looking, the first of which is Deande or Deande. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but she is the Generate Spy Master, and her character bio reads, quote, "The Generate Empire is 20,000 years old, and Deande has served as its spy master for over 1,000 years. That's a long time. See, the Generate have discovered a process called sustainment, essentially becoming immortal. Not everyone of their kind can do it, it's a very expensive process, but a number of the leadership and key figures are all sustained. They can be killed, but they won't die of natural causes." As for how she will actually play in gameplay, Deande is a stealth and deception character. She is an attacker and assassin archetype who wields iron-tipped fans who will kind of ring some nostalgia bells far back in your mind for anyone who played Mortal Kombat, and she'll use them to slice and fling at her enemies. In terms of deception, Deande can create a clone of herself that actually uses a specially programmed AI. It doesn't run straight at the enemy or sit in place or just bug out and be weird. According to Gearbox, the clone attacks and defends and moves in similar ways to how a player would on the battlefield. And at the same time her decoy goes out, Deande will enter stealth when she's able to move around undetected. So basically she's sending her decoy off to distract people, and according to Gearbox it behaves like a player would. How true that ends up being, we don't know. While the actual player is stealth and perhaps causing mischief elsewhere. Whilst invisible, she can perform a short-range dash that will end in a big burst damage attacks. Anyone that's hit or weakened, knocked back, and basically has a classic rogue backstab archetype, and this can be modified through the skill Helix for bonus damage if done from behind. And as for her ultimate, it will allow her to bounce around doing 10 strikes by default and stunning enemies for a very short period, and every enemy caught in her targeting cone when the attack triggers gets hit. But if there's only one enemy, they will go to soak up all the strikes. So basically you can either spread it out across a lot of enemies or focus on one, depending on who's actually on the battlefield. Next up is Ghalt, a veteran peacekeeper, and his character bio reads as such: "Out of all 25 Battleborn, Trevor Ghalt was the first. As the stars began to darken and get torn away from the universe by an unknown enemy, Ghalt, as a peacekeeper, a military veteran, and someone who's been around the block, has seen a bunch of those wars and conflicts firsthand. Everyone likes Ghalt and knows him to be a man of honour and respect. He's a good guy and a good leader. In gameplay, Ghalt is a shotgun-toting powerhouse designed to manipulate the flow of enemies on the battlefield as the hook and trap specialist." As that bio heavily implies, Ghalt can have deployable traps which damage and stun enemies, causing them for about 2 seconds, and as you would expect, you can augment and modify this through the skill Helix, modifying the traps to do more damage, become invisible, or even pop up small turrets that shoot enemies. And to complement this, he has the hook that you can fire out, and it can naturally pull enemies close, as you'd probably expect. As for his ultimate, it allows him to whip out a second shotgun, doubling his damage with dual fire for a limited time. And of course you could imagine the combos you could have with laying down a trap, yanking them with your hook into the trap, and then perhaps laying on them with your either single shotgun or ultimate dual wield shotgun. So there you have it, those are the 2 new characters which got announced by Gearbox to IGN. And we don't have too long until this comes out. It's coming out on May the 3rd on pretty much everything, PS4, Xbox One and the PC of course. So there you have it, do let me know your thoughts. I must say they both sound kind of cool in different ways. The good thing about Battleborn and other similar games is that there's just a huge roster of characters to choose from with plenty of styles for each style of person. Thank you very much for watching, I'll see you next time.